There are arguments on what the first emoji set was, whether it's Docomo's from 1999 or SoftBank's from 1997. I'm gonna go with SoftBank because it's earlier. Yep, this is a set of 90 emoji released in November 1997, and there's 12 of these that I've not yet got around to. I figured I should catch up to 1997, like my music tastes. It's worth noting, but only just, that a slightly later SoftBank emoji set from December 97 is a bit more primitive, because it has even smaller designs. The diamond ring was initially all about the glimmer, an emoji you could also use as one of those flashlight headbands. And now it's very much a question of taste, which it'd be useful for an emoji reviewer to have. I really don't give a shit. The emoji death's ring goes on your widest finger. Microsoft used Thomas the Tank Engine's face. Google went for the candy. The glammest ring is WhatsApp's, I suppose. The gem isn't interesting. Apple. The key started off as the person from the accessibility symbol, remember that? Messenger have a bird face, the key bill. Got a wooden finish at Samsung, and the best work at Joy Pixels. Why was the trident emoji one of the first? Oh, because it was more of a USB dongle goblin. That's just a generically ornate pixel scribble, but it matured into this talon, and eventually a trident-like thing, but just the head of it. Twitter's is especially unstabby, like, oh, it's a Pokemon, Hitmontop. Mozilla and Microsoft make it more like a particularly exciting business diagram, which still wouldn't be exciting at all. Samsung used to think it was a crown. Joy Pixels is particularly edgy, and of course they're all edgy. This is very difficult to have an interest in, but I like Emoji Death's quite strange but somehow quite convincing choice of shading. The marks, question, and exclamation were added as emoji because the SoftBank developers couldn't find the punctuation on the keyboard, I guess? These can seem particularly redundant and a bit like those MSN Messenger Plus custom emoticons where it replaced literal individual letters and people didn't know how to turn them off. But if those are appropriate substitutes for any characters, it's these sentence terminus marks. I must stress those are not appropriate substitutes for any characters, just if they were. But outside of a sentence, these have become kinds of expressive reaction. Puzzlement, like, or surprise-like emphasis, like, and that's kinda okay to emojify. I don't know if you have some synesthesia for what color questions and exclamations are, but between red and grey-black, I'm gonna go for red because it justifies it not being plain text. Nearly. Samsung emojis I've always struggled with, and maybe I've been too kind in the past. There is a jaggedy artifact to the curves of them, and it's a shame because this is a buck wild otherwise. Emoji deaths have gone really pop art. I think Facebook provide the nicest bold drama here. Special mention for their first questionable attempt at a question mark. This face must be disappointed that I've not yet got around to it. It's just a face emoji, and one that either Facebook or Samsung do best. Facebook. There are boring complications to the red heart complications that I'll elaborate in a flash of text too quick to read without pausing. But here it is, this make-believe object thematically but not recognizably based on the human heart. I have to imagine that the object version of this is like a kind of plush, plump velveteen pillow in a way that Facebook does best. The broken heart actually calls that into question. Should I rewrite that last review? Because if you can break a heart into these jaggy edges, then it's not a plush item at all. Or maybe, and do consider how completely fictional this item is so we can invent anything, it's plushy and pliable when it's healthy, but it grows hard when love goes wrong. So it's erectile tissue. And Joypix is best. SoftBank themselves aren't going to get anything in this episode, are they? They would have done much better if I started Mixed Emoji in 1997. It would have been like, SoftBank, and SoftBank, and SoftBank. Now the person's surfing. Though SoftBank 97 did not cover them, that's the plural them. I'm going to look at the binary gender options, which means I can appreciate this version on its ungenderedness, which is perfectly fine in Apple and perfectly fine is what we go for. I've chosen one without the water because I dislike square emoji edges, and the wave is a separate emoji. Strange body types elsewhere, though, including Samsung's terrified child, with actual nipples but no fingers. Twitter's kinda zen, shruggy surfer. All waves must pass. OpenMoji's still unacceptable art style that shows a surfer falling off the back of the board. Another where the way they've put breasts into it really makes you worry for the noodle limbs. HTC is HTC. Mozilla's so relaxed. And AU's history of taking a really low-res animation and softening it over time rather than redrawing it is almost admirable, but like the opposite of admirable. An old Emoji 1 design was one of those Calvin bumper stickers. Apple used to have a priest going for a jog, and Google had someone jumping into a hole. But not Walt Jabsco. For women and for men, there's nothing any more interesting. Apple's is the best woman, but the men's onesie is a bit yuck, so Facebook. You know, OpenMoji's choice in drawing skin tone leads to some very naked surfers. The crescent moon is a funny object because it's literally not that shape, and the way we see it that shape involves shadow and blackness. So, should the edges be sharp or soft? There's no answer, because the edges shouldn't even be. It's more of a toenail clipping emoji. Given the fantastical nature of the symbol, I think a cartoonish approach is best. And AU-D3 was gorgeous, but I can't pick that because AU are aesthetically suicidal, so OpenMoji. And then another kind of sunrise, which I can't make interesting. I'm choosing Emoji Debts, and I like how it also looks like some Dragon Ball Z hero having a power surge. If you liked this video,
It's over!